She doesn't destroy you with violence. She doesn't need to. She studies you, learns your soft spots, then breaks you from the inside. And the worst part? You call it love. You think she's the one, but all she's doing is responding to your weakness. Not out of hate, but nature. Nietzsche didn't blame women for this. He blamed men for forgetting who they are. And you're about to find out why. No one warned you that your downfall would look beautiful, that it would wear perfume, smile sweetly, and whisper promises you were desperate to believe. You thought it was connection. You thought it was destiny. But it was dependence, and Nietzsche saw it clearly. He once wrote, "Ah, women, they make the highs higher and the lows more frequent." It wasn't hatred. It wasn't bitterness. It was the brutal clarity of a man who had seen what happens when men abandon their mission and chase softness instead of strength. You've been told since you were young, be kind, be generous, be emotionally open. And you tried. You gave everything. Your time, your energy, your soul. But somewhere along the way, she started pulling away. Suddenly the calls slowed down, the messages got colder, the warmth turned into confusion, then silence. And you're left wondering, why? The truth is hard to swallow. She didn't change because she's cruel. She changed because you did. Because the moment you made her your purpose, instead of your path, you became disposable. Not because you are worthless, but because you stopped being a man she could respect. Nietzsche warned that men would fall not by war or poverty, but by worship. Worship of women, worship of comfort, worship of something outside themselves. You became a servant to her attention, and in doing so you lost the very thing that drew her to you in the first place: your independence, your focus, your edge. And when a man loses his edge, he becomes dull, and dull blades get discarded. You think she enjoyed breaking you. You think she laughed at your pain. But that's not the truth. The truth is, she didn't even realize she was doing it until it was already done. Because women don't break men intentionally. They break men who are already breaking themselves. Nietzsche observed this long before our generation of lost, heartbroken men. He didn't view women as cruel. He saw them as nature, unforgiving, unapologetic, pure instinct. When a man starts to bend, when he stops being the center of his own universe, she senses it, not with words, but with something deeper. Her biology is wired to detect weakness, because survival depends on it. So when you start changing, when your eyes lose focus, when your words are no longer rooted in conviction, when your spine suddenly curves to please her, she doesn't feel loved. She feels afraid. Afraid that the man she trusted to lead is now following. Afraid that she will have to carry the weight of your emotional fragility. Afraid that what once made her feel safe is now making her feel trapped. And so she starts to withdraw, not to punish you, but to preserve her own security. You'll notice it first in her eyes, then in the way she speaks to you. Her voice loses softness. Her tone becomes sharper. Little things that never mattered suddenly spark arguments. And you try harder, thinking more love, more affection, more sacrifice will bring her back. But that only pushes her further away. Because she doesn't want a man who tries harder. She wants a man who stands taller. Nietzsche believed that a man without a foundation of self is not lovable. He is vulnerable to collapse, and a woman does not want to be crushed beneath the weight of your emptiness. Sometimes, she breaks you not out of malice, but out of disappointment. You became the man who gave her everything, except the one thing she actually needed, a man who didn't need her. And that's the paradox. She wants to feel chosen by a man who doesn't need to choose her, a man who's already whole, already grounded, already marching forward with or without her. You thought loving her was enough, but what she really needed was to love who you are. Not the version of you that dimmed your fire for her comfort, but the version that let your fire burn even if it scorched the world around you. Because deep down, she doesn't want to be your oxygen. She wants to feel your flame. And if you extinguish that flame to keep her close, she will leave. Not because she hates you, but because she can no longer see you. The man she loved was the one you were before you lost yourself. Think about that.
Before we dive deeper, if this video is hitting home, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. Because the truth no one else will tell you is exactly what you need to hear. Now, respect. It's the invisible thread that holds everything together. Without respect, love withers and dies. And Nietzsche knew this better than anyone. He understood that women don't just want love, they want respect. Real respect. Not the fake kind given when you're weak and desperate. The kind that burns in your actions, your purpose, your unwavering will. When you lose your respect for yourself, she senses it immediately. Not through grand gestures, but through the subtle cracks. The moments you let her disrespect your time, your values, your mission. Each small surrender chips away at the foundation of respect until there's nothing left. And when respect dies, love follows soon after. You might be wondering why this happens even when you're trying your best. That's because trying isn't enough. Respect isn't earned by bending over backward. It's earned by standing firm when everything inside you wants to fold. And here's the brutal truth. Women are drawn to strength, not perfection. To power, not submission. To a man who commands his world, even if he's broken inside. When you give her a man who doesn't respect himself, you give her nothing to hold on to. Nothing that makes her feel safe. Nothing worth fighting for. And so, she drifts away, slowly, quietly, not because she stopped loving you, but because the respect that kept love alive has faded into silence. That's why you must rebuild respect first, before you try to rekindle love. You must stand tall in your truth, regardless of whether she stays or leaves, because respect is not just a gift to her, it's the backbone of your own soul. Remember, the man who cannot respect himself will never be respected. And the woman who cannot respect a man cannot truly love him. You thought giving more would save the relationship. More time, more attention, more softness. You gave her everything you thought she wanted, and she still left. And that broke you, because you believed that love was earned through sacrifice. But Nietzsche would tell you, sacrifice without strength is not noble. It's weakness dressed in desperation. She didn't want everything. She wanted you to hold something back, to protect something sacred within you that even she couldn't touch. That thing, your core, your mission, your edge, was what made her respect you in the first place. But you gave it away, piece by piece, until there was nothing left for her to admire. Just a man who existed for her comfort, not his own truth. And that's the mistake most men never recover from. They confuse surrender with love. They confuse obedience with loyalty. And in doing so, they erase themselves, quietly, completely. You thought being nice would keep her. But nice is not what keeps a woman. Nice is what makes her feel guilty when she walks away, not what makes her stay. Because women don't want a man who orbits around them. They want a man who stands in his own orbit and invites her into it. She was never meant to be your sun. You were meant to burn on your own. You see, when a man forgets his own value, he becomes afraid to lose her. And when that fear grows, he compromises. And when he compromises, he shrinks. And when he shrinks, she starts to pull away. Not because she wants someone else, but because she no longer sees you. Nietzsche didn't say this out loud, but his life reflected it. He chased a woman who didn't love him back. He lost himself trying to make her see his worth, and it crushed him. Not because she was evil, but because he forgot the truth he preached, that the man must build himself into something greater than desire.
greater than approval, greater than her. You don't win her back by begging. You don't win her back by proving your pain. You win by becoming untouchable, not arrogant, but whole. And whether she returns or not becomes irrelevant, because you've already returned to yourself.
She shattered the illusion. The illusion that love would fix you. The illusion that being a good man was enough. The illusion that if you gave her the world, she would never walk away. But she did. And in that silence, in the absence of her voice, her touch, her presence, you were left with something far more important: yourself. Nietzsche believed that pain wasn't something to be avoided, but to be used. Suffering, he said, was the forge of greatness. And when you were broken, you were being forged into something stronger or something bitter. The choice was always yours. You could stay the victim, blame her, blame women, say love is a lie and close your heart for good. But that path only leads to decay. It rots you from the inside, turns you cold, hollow, small. Or you can rebuild, this time without illusion, this time without giving yourself away. You rebuild by returning to your mission. You remember what it felt like to walk with purpose before you abandoned it for her. You stand up, not to prove anything to her, but to remind yourself who you are. Because the truth is, she didn't destroy you. She revealed you. She exposed the cracks. She showed you where you were still weak, still dependent, still seeking validation. And that was a gift disguised as betrayal. You thought the heartbreak was the end of your story, but it was the beginning. The beginning of the man who cannot be broken again. Not because he is cold, but because he is whole. Nietzsche once said, "He who has a why to live can bear almost any how." Your why was never supposed to be her. It was supposed to be something higher, something eternal, something dangerous. You don't become a man by winning her back. You become a man by rising after she's gone, by facing the ruins and building something unshakable. She broke you, but maybe she saved you.